We've basically started a series on emotions 101. So every Sunday, like at around 9, today we are late, sorry for that. So we basically have this discussions on like the emotions part, like what schools, colleges, any books, textbooks, videos, etc. doesn't teach about. We're basically trying to understand what emotions are, how do we operate out of them, what we should be aware of when we operate out of them. Like if we are operating out of something negative, how should we basically take charge and basically makes our life easier as far as the emotional component is concerned. Humans are emotional beings, right? We operate out of like 1,000 emotions in a day, depending upon all the thoughts that we have. In this series of discussions, we are basically trying to decipher each and every component of emotions and try to understand how to take charge and like how to make our lives easier. So as far as the session 1 and session 2 were concerned, so session 1 was basically a overview of like why we are discussing emotions only, why not something else, why not feelings, why not state of mind, why not thoughts, etc., etc. So in the session 1 we basically discussed and concluded upon that okay, emotions are the things that are actually in our control, not directly but indirectly. With the help of our thoughts we can actually manipulate and we can actually change our emotions. Now, coming on to the session 2, we basically discussed about what the most important part that is basically common in all the emotions, that is called ego. So, what exactly ego is? Okay. So, we basically talked about four things in that session. What ego is, and it was basically, we concluded on to defining it as it's the sum total of all the images that we have. Now, the next question directly comes, what is an image? So, we concluded, discussed, and like we basically described it as the projection or the personalities we basically operate out of on a day-to-day basis. That's an image. Okay. After that, we discussed upon how it's that ego is not only a negative image. Like we basically say, like if a person is arrogant or domineering, he's basically operating out of an ego. But we also discussed that ego can be of many types. It could be a positive ego, negative ego, etc., etc. And just to give you guys an example, like having an image or having a projection of being a nice person is also a type of ego. Having a projection of being a funny person is also a type of ego. And after that, we discussed at length using a lot of examples and finally concluded, okay, there is a thing called ego, which we all share commonly. We might have different images. Like, for example, Tushar may have an image of a very nice person. I can have an image of a very arrogant person. Some other person can have an image of a very helpful or a very funny person. So we all operate out of these images when we interact and talk to a lot of people on day-to-day basis. Okay. Now, in today's session, we are basically going to cover the second aspect that we should be very clear about, and it's called a desire. So what exactly a desire is, and just to like be very clear right now, it's sort of a disclaimer. See, when we talk about these terms like desire, happiness, ego, necessity, want, need, I'm not talking about the literal meaning of them. Okay, because how dictionary describes these terms when it comes to the English usage is very different from how we basically perceive these things, how emotionally we relate to these words. Okay, so in today's session, me and Aditya are going to tell you about four terms which comes under desire. First of them is called wish. Second is necessity. Third is need. Fourth is want. And after covering all these four things, we are going to cover one more term, which is very, very, very important. We initially thought that we'll not cover it, but it's important and we are going to cover it. That's called a desirous state. Okay. The only thing, the only request, the only disclaimer I have for you guys is these terms we are going to describe or explain in detail based on how we as humans interact with these desires. Like how I emotionally connect with the term called need. If I say I need a phone, what exactly I'm trying to say, or how I, on emotionally basis, is being able to relate to that phone. Okay,
Yeah.
it is
Hi.
totally related to, yeah,
Yeah. Hi. Sorry to interrupt. I was just asking that have you had some more session before also?
yeah. We had two sessions before. This is the third session.
All right.
Awesome. So the only thing is that we are going to cover these terms and emotions based on how you perceive these desires, and not at all based on the literal meaning that you can easily find in any dictionary, etc. Okay, now with that, let's start today's session. I would request Aditya to go ahead.
All right. First of all, good evening, everybody. Uh, all right. So, quick refreshers and two bullet points. Number one, self-awareness. I mean, I'm covering this for those people who are, joining for the first time. Uh, what is self-awareness and why do we need it? Self-awareness is nothing but the understanding of your emotions, the anatomy of your emotions, basically, what your emotions are, where they come from, and how to effectively deal with them. Just like we understand our body, we are just trying to understand our emotion. We know if something is wrong with our body, we are feeling cold, we know what all things to avoid and what all things to do. But when it comes to emotions, we seem to have no clue at all. So the entire idea about self-awareness is being aware of your emotions, being aware of what your emotions are and what they can do to you, and how you can say, how you can control them, how you can manage them. Secondly, apart from self awareness, why is it important? Because if you want to do anything in life, be it at a personal level, be it at a professional level, or anything for that matter, you you need to be aware of your emotions, your desires, your goals, the probability of you achieving those goals. I mean, how you handle your success, how you handle your failures, all of these things, how you handle your family, your kids, your parents, your wife, your husband, all of these things, they depend upon your emotions. If you are able to effectively manage your emotions and take charge, you'll easily be able to sail through everything. If not, you'll probably be
Mhm.
living a life where your emotions are controlling you. Secondly, in the this is the summary of the first session. In the second session, we discussed ego. Now, ego in a single sentence is nothing but the sum total of all the images that you have. So even if you have an image that, oh, I don't have an ego, that itself is an ego. So an ego is kind of it's actually inevitable. Now, why is ego a bit of a problem? Because ego is nothing but unawareness. When you make an image of yourself, that image is not you. You have certain desires that image might not have. You might have certain things about you, you might have certain characteristics that the image will not have. And when that happens, you'll try to suppress those desires, you'll try to suppress those parts of yourself. And when those parts manifest themselves in different ways, you'll be ashamed of them. You'll probably try to avoid them. And that will cause more problems. That will actually lead you away from your awareness, and you will do the things that you do not need to do. That is the biggest problem with an ego. So, why is it important to be aware about your ego? If you're aware that, okay, this is just my ego, this will actually help you a lot in decision making. A lot of people take, I mean, they take disastrous decisions, and one of the best examples of this is Adolf Hitler, who literally lost a war which Germany was certain to win, because they had all the edge they needed. Germany was almost certain to win that war, but because of Hitler's ego, they lost the war. If Hitler had not been egoistic, or he had just been aware of his ego, he would know that whatever radical decisions he was making in order to safeguard his so-called honor, that's actually going to lead him away from the purpose that he had set on. So that is why, these things, it's very important to be aware of your ego. Now, there was a very good question last time, whether or not ego can help you in certain ways. So yes, it definitely helps you in certain ways. If you have an ego of being a very sincere person and you always act sincere, obviously you're going to achieve certain things in life. But so the question is, can you use your ego? It's simple as that. If you're aware of your ego, yes, you can use your ego to your betterment. If you're not aware of your ego would be using you. So that is the biggest difference between being aware and being unaware. And technically, I mean, we'll realize this over the course of next few sessions, that if you are aware about your ego, there essentially is no ego. So moving forward, today we are going to discuss about desires. So again, I mean, I want every one of you to unmute yourselves. Those of you who can't unmute yourselves probably because of background noise, please feel free to put your opinions and questions on chat. This is going to be a super interactive session. So the first, Vinay has already defined that we'll be looking at 5 kinds of desires. The very first desire is wish. Does anyone want to take a shot and try to define what wish is?
Guys, just to mention, like as Aditya has mentioned that we can use the chat, I would request you guys to use mental health and psychology channel for conversation with each other, or like with us. So we'll be basically looking at the mental health and psychology channel. Yeah, go ahead, Aditya.
All right. So unmute yourselves, and would one of you volunteer and tell me what do you think wish is?
Wish is something I want to have.
Okay. All right. So let's say you want to okay, actually, let me. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit dicey. Let me actually define wish for you, and then it'll be interesting to have conversation on other desires. So, wish is nothing but a null emotion. When I say null, it means that it doesn't have a polarity. It's neither negative, it's nor positive. Wish is something where you're just like, मैं सोचूं आज की, I wish I had all the money that Ambani has. I wish I could date Deepika Padukone. These are I mean, these are those kind of this is that kind of a desire which we are not very serious about. We wish that it happens, we really do, but even if it does not happen, it doesn't bother us because we ourselves are not serious about it. We are certainly not doing anything about it. We are not making any kind of efforts about it. That is why I said it's a null emotion. It neither has a overall positive effect on you, nor does it have an overall negative impact on you. It's a null emotion. It's basically whether or not it's there or not, it doesn't make any difference. So now that we have discussed wish, I'll define 4 emotions. And I want you to define any emotion you want. I'm actually going to define 3. One is necessity, the second one is need, and the third one is want. So you can define any emotion you want and just jump it.
I just have one
Give it a
point.
shot.
I just
Yeah.
have one point. Like, you guys cannot use the name of other emotion in defining one emotion. Like, for example, when Aditya asked what is wish, so someone has written wish is something that I want to have, but if I don't, I won't die. So he has basically used want. Now, in order to understand what a wish is, I basically have to define want ultimately. So you guys are not supposed to use the name of one emotion while defining another. It messes up everything. So just be clear about that. Yeah, go ahead.
So we should maintain the mutual exclusiveness of all these emotions. Just ensure that. So yeah, I threw 3 emotions at you: want, need, and necessity. Anyone wants to take a shot at anything?
Yeah, it's Tushar.
Hi,
Uh,
Tushar.
uh, yeah, hi, bro. So I would want to define want, and I personally think that want is nothing but desire for something, nothing more.
Mm-hmm. then what is need?
Okay, give me 15 seconds.
You can take your time, don't worry. Because I think everyone's going to learn from these discussions. So you define that want is a desire. So want is a type of desire. That's what we discussed. So again, maintaining the making them mutually exclusive. So you said that it's a desire to have something. Then what is need in that case?
And guys, you can give examples also. It's clearly fine. You
Ha
can
ha. I
give an
mean,
example
these
in order to define it. It's totally fine. It's just that you should like basically understand like if you are using a word need, what relationship it shows between you and that thing that you basically need. And that's basically the key to differentiate between all these things: the wish, the want, the need, and the desirous state that we are going to cover next. Okay, so Demonic
yeah.
Unicorn
Go ahead.
has
Take a shot.
written need is something that you cannot live without.
Okay. Then what's a necessity? If need is something that we can't live without, then what is a necessity?
Okay, Trickster has written necessity is sort of bare minimum need like food, oxygen, water, essentials without which we could not survive.
Okay, pretty much makes sense, and I think it's very close to what probably we'll all converge at. But yeah, anyone wants to
Right.
take any other shot at that? So anyone wants to differentiate between need and necessity? You can unmute yourselves and speak.
Okay, so Prince has written need is something that is essential to you to maintain your lifestyle, without which you cannot survive.
That does
Interesting
throw
one.
some light.
Right.
That does throw some light there.
So there
Yes.
is another one, Aditya. So Maverick has written, if I have pencil, there is a need of eraser. And there is no mistake in writing is a wish. Wow. Like I love this answer.
Oh, absolutely. Hmm. But need is not that's not how we are defining it. So remember, these are not dictionary meanings. Dictionary meanings will differ. We are talking about all these things as an emotion.
Okay, so Dhruv has given an example. I will put it with example. Food is necessity as I require it to live. I need a
Hmm.
laptop that is required to carry out some official work. I want an Audi R8 as that would make me look cool.
Beautiful. Hmm. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Just one thing that I'm.
need can be different for
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I'll go ahead.
yeah, need can be different for different people, but necessity is same for everyone, I guess.
Hmm. So let me just give you one of my inputs here, just to make sure that this conversation goes in line. So Vinay, can you revisit that example? Can you say it out loud again? The
So
last
Dhruv
example.
one, na?
Yeah.
So food is a necessity as I require it to live. I need a
Hmm.
laptop that is required to carry out some official work. I want
Hmm.
an Audi R8 as that would make me look cool.
Good. So, Dhruv, just make one small tweak to it. Absolutely, food is a necessity, and we'd also be including this laptop of yours into the necessity section. So if like all the things that you need to work, let's say I need a laptop to work, let's say I need a pencil to write, I need some uh, I need some resources to make something that I can sell and live my life. Let's say all these things are necessities. Put them in necessity. Now tell me the difference between need and want. So I think necessity part is clear right now. Necessity is all those bare minimum things you need in order to maintain, your work or whatever you're doing. It could be roti kapda makan. It could be your laptop if you're an IT professional. It could be a pencil if you're a student. It could be anything. It could be books. So these things, let's put all of these things under the bracket of necessities. Now tell me, what is the difference between want and need?
Okay, just to define it, like, so what Aditya is basically saying is that if you have to define necessity, you would call it as something that is a must required for executing a certain task, which is important to you. That is a necessity. As simple as that. If you want to write, pencil is or a pen, pencil, or a laptop, if you want to write digitally, is a necessity. Without it, you cannot do anything. And necessity is totally a goal based. You don't have to like relate it to your survival only. Okay, necessity is goal based. If your goal is to survive, then necessity becomes your food, shelter, clothes, etc., etc. If the goal changes, so for example, if the goal is to travel from Pune to Mumbai, the necessity becomes the mode of transport. Okay, be very clear with that. Don't just relate it with only the survival part. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Go ahead, Aditya.
Perfect. So, necessity ho gaya. Does anyone have any questions on necessity? Any questions or any comments? And if not, try and brainstorm and think now what could be the difference between want and need.
Okay, there is a very interesting question. I want Aditya you to answer it. How is necessity and emotion then?
I'll answer it at the end of. I'm so happy this thing came. I'll answer
Same
it
here.
at the very end of this session.
So,
Like,
well,
this is something that
again,
we discussed before. Yeah, go ahead.
I was not expecting this. I thought last में ये चीज अपने आप आएगी, but I'm so happy this came. And who is this, by the way?
So this is
Hello.
demonic unicorn. Yeah.
So I mean, salute to you, bro. I really did not expect this question. Thank you so much, but trust me, we have plans to open it up at the end of the session, so please be patient. Yep. Any other questions?
So,
Someone
well-
was trying to say something.
hello.
Yeah, Srinivas.
Yeah, I'm Lalit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think you're discussing about necessity versus wanting, right?
Necessity versus.
Wanting.
So so necessity has been cleared. We have already defined necessity. It's the bare minimum things that you need to execute an action, do your job, and to live, and to live in a certain way. If I'm a writer, I need pen and paper. That's my necessity. If I'm a traveler, I need a bike. That's my necessity. If I'm an IT professional, I need a laptop. That's my necessity. So necessity को हमने अब side कर लिया. Necessity is all the resources. Now talking about need, want, the difference between need and want. So, what do you think is the difference between need and want? That's the question.
Yeah, let me share my views on the following topic. Yeah, need is
Yeah.
something you get beyond what you base. There will be some sort of thing called basic needs and secondary needs. You need a tumbler to drink water, but it's not necessary to have a water tumbler every time to drink water. So it depends on the person's and situations. Well,
Okay, let me give you a hint. Stop thinking of resources. As I said, think about need and want as an emotion. Okay, just to put this thing in line. Okay, this is for everybody out there. Just to put this thing in line, think about two kids. These two kids, A and B, let's say Ram and Sham. So these two people see, they're passing by and they see a Baskin Robbins store. Now they both want to eat ice cream. Ram goes to his dad and says, "Dad, I really want an ice cream. I really want to eat an ice cream tonight." Sham goes to his mom and says, "Mom, I need an ice cream today." That's a hint for you all. Now try and give me your own examples, or maybe build up on this very example and give me the probable definitions, or maybe give me an example that differentiates between as an emotion, not as a resource.
Okay, by the time you guys are thinking, it's like I have some responses. I'm sharing, right? So Linus says need can be something which you don't exactly require for survival, but it can be those goals which you can achieve through executing a plan. this plan might lack in want.
Okay, come again, please. एक बार फिर
Okay.
से.
Need is something. Need can be something which you don't exactly require to survive, but it can be those goals which you can achieve through executing a plan. This plan might lack in want. So basically, she's trying to say that if you have a plan, if you want to achieve something and you have a plan and you are executing on it, this whole thing becomes a need. And when that plan is missing, then it becomes a want.
Okay, fair enough. So, Linus, one thing. First of all the resources that you need, be it a laptop, be it a tumbler, let's say. Now that was a good comeback actually. That we can actually drink water directly from the bottle. Tumbler is not a bare necessity. So, in that case, a tumbler, put all the resources in necessity. Whether or not you think those are luxuries, whether or not you think they are bare necessities, all the resources, put them in necessity. Now, only think about emotion. What is need
So,
as an emotion? What is want as an emotion? What do you really mean when you say I want it? What do you mean when you say I need it? That's
So-
what I want you to define. Yeah.
so let me have a good example regarding this the following topic here. Hello, I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's take an example that we have a student of age 15 who loves coding and want to build an app.
Hmm.
Yeah, he don't have a good teacher or any resources available at his school to do that. So what he did is he went to internet and do the for learn everything and done everything in the cafe, or else he asked his father to get a laptop for him. Because if he really wants something, we can try. There are many ways to reach a goal, but if you need something, if you need something badly, you will explore everything and find a way to do that at any cost. But if you want something, you don't try to do. You don't. If he thinks that he want to create an app, just he'll ask his father to buy a laptop and he just leave it off. If that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. All right. So not exactly what I take your point, but I don't quite agree with it. We'll get to it later. Now, again,
I have more
just to
responses. I have more responses.
yeah.
So Prince says need is something that is essential for survival or living. Want is something that makes you feel alive or gives you a reason to feel alive. Okay. Next.
अगेन ब्रो नीड वी हैव डिस्कस्ड कि वो सारी चीजें नेसेसिटी है, वो नीड नहीं है. नीड इमोशन है, वांट इमोशन है, एंड वी आर डिस्कसिंग द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दीज टू इमोशंस. व्हाट डू यू फील व्हेन यू थिंक यू नीड समथिंग? What do you feel inside when you think you want something? What are the related thoughts? I give you a very good example. Now, before we get more responses, think on these lines. There are two boys, Ram and Sham. Ram says, Dad, I really want an ice cream. Sham says, Mom, I need an ice cream. What do you think is going inside the minds of these children? And how is the outcome of whether or not their mom and dad they buy them an ice cream or not going to affect these children? I'm talking about the emotional outcome. So think on these lines and then try and come up with an answer. Yeah, Vinay, meanwhile, please read out other responses.
Yeah. So I have a very good one here. Okay. So Linus says if we consider emotions, need is something if we get it or not, it will affect us a lot. Okay.
Beautiful.
Want is something if we get it or we don't, it might not affect us that much.
It's actually pretty close but not correct. Yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay, I have one more question actually. Okay, Linus, could you just unmute yourself? Would you be comfortable doing that? I want to have a one-on-one discussion with you so that other people can also learn from it. Would you be comfortable doing that?
She can't. She can't.
Okay. All right. ठीक है. We read out other responses meanwhile.
Okay, so Zubi Dooby says need is something that I must have to proceed with my life any further, and want is something that I'd like to have in future.
Again, it's kind of going into commodities. Think about need and want as emotions.
So, like, I'll give you another hint. So, if I say, Tushar, I want you right here. And if I say, Tushar, I need you right here.
यार I believe
What is the
कि
difference?
साथ में consequences attach होते हैं.
Actually, I want to build more on the Linus's answer. It's actually quite a good answer. So again, Linus, you said need is something which is sure to affect us a lot. So you're saying and want is something that might not affect us that much. So in the example that I took, now Ram says, "Dad, I really want an ice cream." So are you saying that if Ram's dad buys him an ice cream, he won't be happy? On the other hand, Sham, who says that I need an ice cream, if he gets an ice cream, he'll be happier. I mean, can you try and frame an answer based on this situation? Make some tweaks, maybe.
Okay. We have something good now. Prince says want is going to affect your ego.
Want is going to affect your ego.
Your ego.
Okay. It's actually the other way around.
Right. So that's why I said like we have a good answer.
Okay.
Okay, there's one more. So Maverick says someone's necessity can be our want. I mean, it's just an illusionary part like jealousy. What he has, maybe it's his necessity, not for us, but after seeing his, it becomes a part of what we want. So, like Maverick, I'd like to like build upon it. So, for example, like what you said is completely okay. It depends on it. Like as I said, necessity is goal based. So if I am Ambani, my goal is to like build the next $1 trillion business. Like all the things that I need, that I have to do, becomes my necessity. But it should not be the case with a normal person. So like as we have already defined necessity, let's like leave it there. Necessity is something that is goal based, and all the must required things that I need to complete that goals is basically my necessity. Now let's move from that part and let's come on to the difference between the need and the want. Let's have more discussion on it.
Okay. Do we have Linus's answer yet? I'm honestly waiting for it.
She's typing something. It's going to be a
Okay.
big one, I guess. Like before that,
Perfect.
so demonic unicorn says need as an emotion is when I can make things happen in a way they should be. But want as an emotion
Okay.
is when you can have more than the need.
When you have want is an emotion when you have more than the need. That's okay. That's not a definition, but that's beautiful. I have to say that. Okay. Can this guy unmute himself? Just asking.
Demonic unicorn, can you unmute?
Yes.
Hey. All right. So do you बोलूंगा मैं? So that's a beautiful answer. So you said that need is something how I feel something should be done. Let's say this guy says that I need an ice cream. That means he thinks that he should get an ice cream. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. To make
Good.
him
Now,
feel better.
good. So now, if this person thinks that this is something that should be done and it is not done, how will he feel?
What's going on here?
Do you? What's happening?
You can unmute.
Pardon
Demonic
me.
unicorn.
Pardon me. I just joined in. I don't know what's happening here.
So actually, there is a session going on, Emotions 101. We're basically having a third session.
Oh, I see. Yes. So I'm just gonna mute myself and listen to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Sure. Sure. Meanwhile, can you come back?
Okay, he can't. Okay, we have Linus's next answer. So Dio basically said he's around his siblings. He can like unmute.
Okay.
So Linus
I see,
says if they both get an ice cream, they'll be equally happy. Okay. The difference between need and want will arise when they won't get that ice cream. Ram said he needs it. If he doesn't get it, he'll be like very furious, sad, and angry. Sham said he wants it. If he doesn't get it, he might not be that angry as Ram.
Beautiful
Super
answer.
close. It's super close.
It's super close. Yes.
I
It's
must say.
super close.
Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I would just like to correct. I don't know if I'm wrong, but she said it right that they both will be equally happy if they get it, and they would be, according to me, equally sad or angry because it's the case isn't he need it, he really need it. I, just a yeah, Shyam said
Uh,
he wants it, whereas the case is Shyam really wants it.
uh,
So he would be actually angry and sad, like Ram, if he doesn't.
Nobody. I mean, that's not where we are heading. So, I mean, what the answer that she is given is actually pretty close. The part that I actually disagree, I quite ironically would be that even if they get the ice cream, their response will not be the same. The person, okay. So before we define need and want and see the difference between them, let us first see what expectation, deservability, or something like entitlement is. So think of an ideal boss in a corporate like situation, and that boss says, I need these files right here, right now. Let's say this guy gets those files right at that moment. How will he feel? And let's say this guy doesn't get those files at that moment. How will he feel? Think about it.
Yeah, he.
So this is something which is an expectation. Now the boss who is paying his employees feels that this is a basic expectation from my employees that I'll give them work and they'll get the work done. If they do that work, it is normal. I mean, his expectation is met, he'll be fine. If you go to McDonald's and you pay them 50 bucks and ask for, say, a Mexican Mac Aloo Tikki, and they give you a Mexican Mac Aloo Tikki with two sachets of ketchup, would you be really happy that, oh my god, what this I mean, would you feel like, would you be really thankful to that guy who has given you this burger? Because that's something you're expecting. You've paid him money and he has given you a burger with two sachets of ketchup. But let's say now this person gives you this burger with two sachets of ketchup and, say, a free Coke. How will you feel?
Very good.
You'll feel better, right? On the other hand, let's say this guy gives you a normal Mac Aloo Tikki. He doesn't give you a Mexican Mac Aloo Tikki, he gives you a normal Mac Aloo Tikki, which is lesser than what you asked for. Now, how will you feel?
I feel okay, maybe.
Feel as in, I mean, would you be disappointed or not?
Yes, I would be.
Great. So that brings us to one of the fallouts of expectation. When you expect something from someone, when you feel that you deserve it, when you feel that you're entitled to something, then what happens is, when you if you get it, you feel ठीक है, ये तो मिलना ही था. I pay 50 bucks. That burger costs 50 bucks. He gives me that exact same burger with two sachets of ketchup as I expected. I feel normal. That is like, let's say that's उस इमोशन का वैल्यू जीरो है. अगर मेरे को वो वैसे का वैसा बर्गर नहीं मिला, उससे कुछ कम मिला, then I'll have a negative value. Let's say a negative real number. It can be of any magnitude, right? On the other hand, if I get something above my expectations, then I feel positive. अगर वो साथ में मेरे को कोक फ्री देगा जो मैं एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहा था, then I'll be happier that, oh my god, इसने मेरे को ये एक्स्ट्रा दे दिया. Now I'm happy because I was not expecting it, और उसने मेरे को कुछ एक्स्ट्रा दिया, right? This is a classic difference between need and want. Linus's answer was actually quite accurate in this. मतलब एक बस point छोटा सा I would correct it, but otherwise it was bang on, बिल्कुल perfect था. It actually almost hit the bullseye. The difference between need and want is, need is born out of expectations, deservability, and entitlement. When Shyam went to his parents and said that I need an ice cream, he is in his mind thinking that my parents are supposed to get me this ice cream. He thinks that he deserves that ice cream. He thinks that that's a bare minimum, something that he should definitely get. On the other hand, Ram is requesting his parents for an ice cream. He's not he just wants it. He's not thinking that he deserves it. He's not thinking that he's entitled to it. That is a basic difference between Ram and Sham, the emotional states of Ram and Sham. Now that I've already defined this, now can you help me correct the part where probably that Linus did not get correct? Can you try making some tweaks in her answer that you think would make it perfect? Vinay, could you please read out her answer again?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
for sure. So
If
Linus says if they both get that ice cream, they'll be equally happy. The difference
Hmm.
between need and want will arise when they won't get that ice cream. Ram says he needs it.
Hmm.
If he doesn't get it, he'll be furious, sad, and angry. Sham said he wants it. If he doesn't get it, he might not be that angry as Ram.
Hmm. Anyone who wants to make any tweaks to this answer?
so, can we say that need is somewhere like it's something where more
Hmm.
than
Voice is breaking. A lot, Vivek.
Well, I personally think that they won't be equally happy. Like, if
Hmm.
their emotion is different, so the happiness can be different.
Hmm. That's correct. Okay, I think that was the only thing which was off, and you've corrected it. So yes, basically, when Sham says that he needs the ice cream, he is entitled to it. Just like you feel entitled or you expect to get that same Mexican Mac Aloo Tikki when you order it at McDonald's, right? So even if he gets it the exact same way, he is going to feel neutral. Let's say this emotion is of magnitude 0. On the other hand, if he does not get it, then he'll have a let's say he's feeling bad about it. He feels let down. Maybe his ego could be hurt. That hey, how can this person say no to me? Right. So when this happens, now he's feeling a bit negative. Let's say it's a negative real number, -10, -100, -infinity, whatever. Depending upon that person, depending upon how badly he needed it or how badly he wanted it. On the other hand, Ram, he wants it. He doesn't feel that he's entitled to it. He doesn't feel that he deserves it. He's requesting his parents for an ice cream. If he doesn't get an ice cream, his emotion is 0, null state. If he gets the ice cream, it's a positive real number. Again, the magnitude of it depends upon how badly wanted that ice cream. Let's say he badly wanted that ice cream, then it will be plus infinity. If he just wanted it. It wasn't that quite a strong want. Maybe it's +10, +20, whatever. But the underlying summary over here is, assuming all of you have or maybe most of you have a mathematical background, is that the domain, the domain of the final resultant of a want is between 0 to plus infinity. On the other hand, the resultant of a need is between minus infinity and 0. And in our very first session, we discussed this, that how you feel is the only thing that matters. Because whatever you're doing in your life is in accordance to how you want to feel. You say want to become an IAS officer because you feel that if you become an IAS officer, you will be happy. You will feel that you will become important. Right. So the only thing that matters is how you feel and how you want to feel, and whether or not there's a mismatch between these two. Now, in this case, whether or not you get the ice cream, emotionally, the worst case scenario of want is the best case scenario of need. So, what do you think is a better kind of desire to have, a want or a need?
need.
Any responses? I'm waiting for some comments, some questions. I'm actually expecting a lot of questions on this.
I'll give you a
Want
comment.
because you get the need included in the want.
Pardon?
you are getting what you need, then you go to the want. You can't you can't complete the want before getting the need.
Didn't quite get that. These are two completely different things. They're not at all correlated with each other. I mean, give me an example actually to support what you're saying.
Like, I need to first wait. I'll write it down.
Yeah, please do.
I have
Others?
a small.
Hmm.
I have a
Hey, could you
small.
please repeat the question?
So, yeah, I just asked you that what is a better emotion to have, a want or a need? Because we just discussed that the best case scenario of a need is the worst case scenario of want. The worst case scenario is that these guys don't get the ice cream, right? And sorry, the best case scenario is that these guys get the ice cream. The worst case scenario is these guys do not get the ice cream. So let's say Ram did not get the ice cream, his feeling is zero. And let's say Sham got the ice cream, his feeling is zero. So the feeling is actually zero in both the cases, even though Sham had the best case scenario and Ram had the worst case scenario. So we can say that the best case scenario of a need is the worst case scenario of a want. So what is a better thing to have? What is a better emotion to have? Vinay, you were reading out some responses.
Okay, so this just a small heads up for you. So people are asking, where is this exclusiveness now? Like, you are basically using need in the definition of want, so don't do that. I'll basically summarize it at the end, but like still.
Okay.
Nice. And like someone asked your question, I think so. No?
Wait, I have not defined want and need yet. I'm still on that example actually.
Okay, so there is this response from Shroud. He says, want would be better to have as long as you are satisfied. Satisfaction leads to happiness, but need would make you have that thing again and again.
Not necessarily, but okay. But yeah, there we can agree that yes, want is certainly better than need.
Okay, there is one more response. That's an accurate one, I guess. So Demonic Unicorn says, I need to get the paper done, and I want to get the paper done awesomely.
Come again.
I need to get the paper done, and want to get the paper done awesomely.
Are same. I didn't quite get it actually.
What was it? Your question? Wanted to like understand the difference between the use of need and want, right? So in Demonic Unicorn's definition, there are basically two emotions involved. When he says, I need to get the paper done, okay, that is one emotion. And second emotion is, I want to get the paper done awesomely.
See, when you need to get the paper done again, you're having some expectations from yourself.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know what's the importance of this paper, but if you need to get the paper done, if you get it done and you get it done the exact same way that you want to get it done, I mean, exact same way that you picturize it, कि मेरे को exactly ऐसा चाहिए, then you know you'll be happy. You'll be like, then you will feel neutral because that's the basic thing that you expected out of yourself. But even if there's a slight mistake or maybe there's there's a slight tweak there's a slight difference between the reality and how you picturized it. Maybe out of 100 things that you wanted to cover in that paper, maybe you could not just cover one single thing. You won't be satisfied with it, and you'll feel a negative emotion. However, when you want to do it, want is an emotion which is born out of sheer willpower. It's a form of desire which is born out of sheer willpower, where you want to do something and it completely translates into action. Again, that is the same thing with need. Need may or may not translate into action, but it is born out of some form of entitlement, deservability, or expectation. Now the problem with expectation is that expectation is evil. When you say that when you expect something from someone in a relationship, which are which ideally should be unconditional, what you're doing is you're actually putting them under a lot of pressure. Now that ice cream one was a very elementary example. I'll actually get to the real life situations, how things unfold in your real life. Let's say there are parents who expect a lot of their child. Hmm? There's a couple. Their child is in say 10th or 11th standard, and they are expecting a lot out of him. The father expects that my child will go to IIT. Now let's say this guy, that is a base thing that the child needs to do. Maybe he expects so because most of his cousins have been to IITs and prestigious colleges like that. Now even if this guy gets into an NIT, he's a disgrace to the family because that was the base expectation from the child that he will get into an IIT. But this guy did not get into an IIT. He got into an NIT, which is still good, which is still great. But then he's a disgrace. Why? Because he performed less than the base expectation. On the other hand, if it was not an expectation, if it was just a want, even him achieving, even him clearing AIEEE and getting into an NIT would have made the father happy. That is the basic difference. Now, again, if you think from the father's perspective, when the child failed to get into IIT and he went to NIT, he feels bad about it, even though his child has achieved something. If you think about it, how it is having an impact on the child is under immense pressure that I need to perform. Does that make sense to you? This is the basic reason why expectations in a relationship ruin things. Because let's say you're expecting 10 things out of a person, it could be any kind of relationship. It could be a parent child relationship, it could be a relationship between a husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, anything. If you're expecting 10 things out of a person and this person manages to do even 9.5, you are going to crib about that 0.5 that he missed out on. You are not going to see कि उसने 9.5 किया, आप ये क्रिप करोगे कि उसने 0.5 क्यों नहीं किया. Does that make sense to you? However, when you do not have an expectation, then even if he does two things for you, you're going to be happy. Does that make sense? Do you have any comments or questions on it? Because this is the point where I'm expecting questions and comments, of course.
Okay. So, like, as you said, you are expecting right now questions or comments. So, if the expectation is too high, then you won't be happy, even if there will be some questions. But if your expectation is like there won't be any questions and 2 or 3 questions come, then you would be happy. Like, that's the case now.
See, bro, try and differentiate between expectation as an emotion and expectations dictionary meaning. Here, when I'm using the word expectation, I'm expecting questions. It's just a figure of speech where I'm saying that okay, I'm thinking that there will be questions at this point. It doesn't mean that it's making me unhappy if I don't get questions. Just to make it clear.
Yeah,
But yes,
of course.
that's a very good point. That's a very good example actually. I'm glad you took it.
Okay, so guys, if you don't have any
Yeah, yeah.
question, like I would want to put some
Yeah,
perspective
I
on
have
it.
one question. I
Yeah,
mean, can
Vishal,
you
go
put
ahead.
your perspective after that? Yeah. So my
Yeah.
question was that can't we control our expectation, like how much we are expecting?
But who will set the rule? Who will set the threshold? It's you, right? And
Yeah.
what would it be based on?
On my past experience and the knowledge and info I have.
Okay, actually, give me an example. That would actually make it more interesting.
Let's take that parents example now. If
Mm-hmm.
a parent know that the capability of my child is this much, and if I would expect this low, then he directly or indirectly would achieve this much for sure. Like not IIT and all,
Hmm.
but he is capable to like go to this college, like NIT or triple IT maybe. And if
Hmm.
I mean he can control the level of expectation, won't it be a better choice to have in comparison to no expectation from the start?
Then can I answer that?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Tushar, why can't that parent actually have a discussion with that child and like ask him whether what I'm expecting is right or not? In that case, he'll basically take the expectation out and actually have a discussion.
Okay, and do you think
Okay.
parents
And
do this in India these days? Like, of course, it is
Yeah,
improving.
my
I'm not
parents
saying,
do.
huh,
My
yeah,
most
parents
of
do.
them
I'm
don't.
saying,
But wait, before I get there, actually, I mean, before we get again back to the example, my question would be, why should the father have any expectation at all from the child? See, you're saying कि ठीक है IIT का expectation नहीं रखते, हम expectation रखते हैं कि चलो NIT या ट्रिपल आईटी तो पहुंचेगा. Now that is also an expectation in itself, right? अब क्या पता वो बच्चा NIT या ट्रिपल आईटी भी किसी रीजन
yeah.
की वजह से नहीं पहुंच पाए. In that case, also the same result would apply. Now you cannot set a rule. I mean, there cannot be a universal rule कि नहीं यार इतना expect करना गलत है, लेकिन इतना expect करना तो सही है. There cannot be, right? So
Okay.
my question is, one thing that I thought maybe there's an underlying assumption that the father's expectation are translating into the child's performance. Is it something that that's there in your mind?
That was something I was thinking, but I'm not sure that it was this or not. But that sounds logical.
See, the point is that in most of the cases, especially with teenagers, I mean, when the child is above a certain age, the parents' expectations or what the parent tells them has many a times a detrimental effect on the child's performance. I mean, because that puts the child under pressure. Right now, the child is performing as he normally would. He's studying as per his appetite. He's whatever, I mean, whatever his appetite, interests, and
Yeah,
all
of
of
course.
those things are. He's working as per that. But now the parent has put him under pressure. Now different children will react to it differently. Some children will actually take it as a motivation. Some children might get demotivated. Some children might get scared. I mean, everyone will react differently. So if
And
you
that's why there's a
think
need of
that,
discussion.
pardon?
And that's why there's a need of discussion between the student and the parents.
Right, right. We will actually get to parent-child discussions. That's actually a big topic which might even span 2 or 3 sessions. But I mean, this is not. I mean, here the only point that I'm trying to say is the only point that I'm trying to make is that if the father has no expectation at all, it's not like the child is not going to perform at all, because that's not a 1 or 2 year old child. It's a grown-up 16, 17
Yeah, of
year
course.
old, right? It's not like he's not going to perform at all. He's going to do something. And if like even if he gets into a triple IT, then it's not like if the father has no expectation at all, the child will not reach an IIT. He might get into IIT Bombay CSE. Who knows? But whatever the
Yeah,
child achieves, whether he gets into IIT Bombay or whether he gets into Thapar, the father is going to be happy
it
about it.
would be 0 to infinity.
Exactly. It will be 0 to infinity. On the other hand, if there's an
Okay,
expectation,
but like,
कि मेरा बच्चा
yeah, but like, is it even possible to have no expectation?
yes, it's certainly possible. It is certainly possible.
Okay, continue. Yeah, like
Whether
you
do
were
you have
giving a
any other?
different scenario now.
Okay, so I'll explain everything and basically conclude on to the definition part of it. But there is one very good thing happened. So while you guys were discussing, we actually have a definition for want in the chat, like simple, clear, like exact. So Demonic Unicorn says, is there anything such like not expecting at all and just making things happen to have the joy of making it happen?
Perfect. Perfect.
That's basically the definition of a want. So want is nothing but you having something in mind, making a plan, executing on it so that one day you'll reach there. That is the actual definition of wanting something and not operating out of any sort of you can say expectation or entitlement, like क्योंकि मैं ये हूँ इसलिए मुझे ये मिलेगा etc etc. You just have something in mind, like this is the part that I have to follow, and like if I do these things, there is a possibility that I'll reach there, and if not, I'll do the corrective. I'll take all the corrective actions that are required, and like after iterating it fast enough, I'll basically reach there. That is basically the definition of want. And when Ram said, I want an ice cream, agar uski mummy nahi bhi laake deti, he would have gone out and like purchased an ice cream for himself. The very first thought that came to his mind was, let me ask my mom. Let's see if that goes well. If not, I'll think of some other way to get it. He's not entitled. He's not like, okay, I have parents. It's their job to take care of me. I want an ice cream. Now, because I have parents, they should get me an ice cream because I need that ice cream and I'm entitled to it. As soon as from a goal, if you remove that entitlement and the expectation and you actually go on to like work on something which you need or basically which you want, it's basically you operating out of an emotion that is want when you remove expectations and entitlement from it. I hope that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. And kudos to this guy, demonic कौन सा था ये? Unicorn था ना?
Yeah.
हाँ, demonic unicorn. Kudos to you, man. All right. Any other questions or any other comments that you or any other examples that you might want to share based on this? Anyone?
I wanted to ask, like you said, these are emotions. So, are there any what can I say exceptions in these cases?
No, bro. There are no exceptions. Absolutely none. And
Okay.
okay. I was actually expecting one question. So actually, I'll leave it open to you guys. I have this question from you since I did not get this question from anyone else. I just said one thing. I said expectations are evil. Huh? I said expectations are
When did you
evil.
said that?
So I actually did, bro.
Oh, okay, my mistake then.
So I said expectations are evil. And when I say that, would that mean that my manager should not have expectations from me? That if he gives me a deliverable, I'll get it done? Does that
I'll
mean
answer
that
that
if I go
question.
if I walk
I'll
if
answer
I
that
walk to
question.
McDonald's, if I walk into McDonald's and I ask for a Mexican Mac Aloo Tikki and this guy just gives me one ketchup sachet, I should be happy with it. That oh that's great. I don't have any expectations कि कुछ भी मिलेगा मेरे को एक sachet ketchup मिल गया मैं उसी में खुश हूँ. I mean, should that be the case?
Like
Now,
if you allow Aditya, if no one is going to take that question, I would love to take that question.
Okay.
guys, do
I mean,
brainstorm on
can we
this.
say it like this? Can we say it like this? If we are paying something, then we
Hmm.
should expect. If we are not paying, then if we don't expect and we'll get something, it's good.
Very good. That's a very good point. Now, let's say, okay, payment हटा देते हैं इस चीज से. ये वाला तो totally, I take this. It's the correct answer. That if you're paying something for it, or can we say something like if you're transacting, if it's a transaction or it's a deal. When I'm working for my company, it's a deal. It's a transaction between me and my employer that this guy is going to give me money on at the end of each month, and I'm going to do his work. Similarly, when I'm paying the McDonald's guy, it's a deal that I give you money and you give me a burger and two ketchup sachets. Now, this is a deal, a transaction. In a transaction, a deal, or an agreement, expectations are necessary. However, when I say expectations are evil, they are evil in case of a relationship or something which is supposed to be unconditional. A parent's love for their child is supposed to be unconditional. It's not. It's practically not in most of the cases. But it is supposed to be unconditional. Similarly, let's say even a normal, if you have a friend, it's not supposed to be transactional. I know it is in most of the cases, but we are not discussing most of the cases here. We are trying to get into the depths of emotion so that we feel better. Now, when I'm discussing the expectations part, here the subject is not the child. The subject is the father. Forget how the child is going to react. Maybe he takes it in a very positive way, maybe he takes it in a very negative way. But think about it, how will the dad feel if he has an expectation that his child does not meet? The dad is going to feel miserable about it. Maybe the child does wonders because of it. I don't care about the child. The subject is the father. This guy has expectations. What effect is it having on his state of mind, on his emotional state? That is what we're trying to analyze here. And essentially, what we're trying to maximize is our own happiness. Because at the end of the day, we want to feel good, we want to feel stable, we want to feel happy, we want to feel motivated, right? We don't want to feel awful. We don't want to feel let down. We don't want to feel disappointed. So it's about you. It's not about how the other person will react to it. There can be 1 million ways how the other person could react to it. Hence, if you make your relationships transactional, expectations are there where there are transactions. Simple point. Let's say I have a friend for whom I've done a lot. I let's say he had an accident and I took him to the hospital. I took care of him and did all that. Now, if I'm expecting that in return of this he's going to say 100 good things about me to 1,000 people, now that's an expectation. That's where it gets transactional. That I'll do this for you, and you say 100 good things about me to 1,000 people. Now it's a transaction. Now it's not done out of love. Now it's not unconditional. So the point is, when I have expectations, I am the one who's being hurt. The other person may or may not get affected at all. Now, if I'm having this expectation from my friend, if he does not do it, maybe I'll never tell him. Maybe he'll be chill as hell and I'll be the one who's disappointed. I'm the one who's feeling awful. I'm the one who's feeling terrible. Does that make sense?
Just to add to it, see, having expectations has everything to do with the person who is having those expectations and nothing to do with the person from whom you are expecting. I'm repeating, me having expectations from Aditya, for instance, has everything to do with me and nothing to do with him. And in order to cut this expectation to zero, whatever you are expecting, just tell that other person. If I am expecting Aditya to speak for 1 hour, I'll just ask him, Aditya, can you speak for 1 hour? It's as simple as that.
And
If
were
you're
you
expecting something from someone, just tell him, like, dude, I was thinking, like, would you be like kind enough to do this? If he says yes, it's good. If he says no, you're basically having wrong expectations from a wrong person. You might have to like look for an alternative.
makes sense? But I'm just asking in between when you like asked Aditya and then you took a break of like 5-7 seconds. Were you expecting an answer at that point of time?
No, maybe my voice got like break. I didn't pause at all.
Bro, again, one confusion. Dictionary meaning of expectation and the emotional meaning of expectation are different.
Yeah,
things.
are different, of course.
Let's say in this case, Vinay was expecting an answer from me, or maybe he was expecting me to interrupt. So this basically means, I mean, maybe expectation is not the most accurate word to use here, but that's how we communicate in English. Maybe he was speculating that I'll speak something. Maybe speculation would be a better word, right? Maybe he was speculating that I'll speak something. So, in order to give me that space, he gave me 10 seconds. I did not take it up. He took it up again, right? So it's not something which is going to hurt him. That, oh, why did he not take it up? Right? He was just speculating that Aditya might pick up from here, which I did not. So he took it up again. Right? So again, we can use these terms interchangeably in English. What's essential over here is to understand the emotional meanings of these terms.
Makes sense. And like
In
you
this
said,
case, it's speculation.
and you said like some people should have unconditional. Like who decided this unconditional, or is this something which should be there according to the happiness level? That if it would be unconditional, then they would be more happy. Is it something like that?
See, bro, it's not a rule actually. It's not a thumb rule. It's not something which is written somewhere. Basically, the simple idea over here is that I want to maximize my happiness. Right? When can I maximize my happiness? If let's say, or maybe my state of mind. I will not use happiness because there are different kinds of higher emotions. Now, simple thing that if I have expectations, if my love is conditional, then I'm bound to have expectations. If those expectations are met as is, then I'll be fine. I'll be zero. If even if 1% of it is not satisfied, I'll feel bad. That could be -1, that could be -100, that could be minus infinity. However, if I'm not expecting anything from anyone, and if somebody does even 1 or 2% of the things that I have done for them, then the way I feel about it is I'm happy. I'm grateful to them. I'm filled with higher emotions. I'm filled with gratefulness. I'm filled with thankfulness. I'm filled with happiness that this guy did this for me. I feel special about it. So, what is it that I want to achieve? I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. If I'm having expectations, it puts me under a great risk of being unhappy. So now, if let's say I have some expectations from Vinay, right? Now, what will happen is now my happiness depends upon Vinay. Now, if he does everything as per me, then probably I'll be happy. Or if he does more than that, then probably I'll be happy. But if he does not do that, then I'm sad. Or maybe I'm not happy. I'm disappointed. I'm let down. Now, when this is happening, I'm giving away the remote control of my emotional state to Vinay. That bro, you take it, do whatever you want with it. Who should have that remote? It should be me, right? And how can I retain that remote? That is when I do not attach expectations to people's action or the way they see me or the way they do things for me. If I do not do that, I'm bound to be between 0 to infinity. Does that make sense? So that is why
It
if
is
you want
making
to,
sense for now.
So
that
I'll
is right.
mention one more thing. I'll mention one more thing. So guys, don't get confused between like need is something separate and want is something separate. It is very easy to convert a need to a want. It's very easy. Just remove that entitlement and that expectation part, and what you basically were needing has become a want now. So for example, if I say, Aditya, I need you at 9 p.m. tomorrow because we are going to have a session. Okay, I am basically expecting Aditya to be there because I have said it, like I want him to be there. Instead, if I remove those expectations and entitlement and that like अगर मैंने बोला है तो आदित्य रहेगा ही रहेगा, if I remove this thing, it becomes a want, and I can actually say, Aditya, like we were basically trying to have a session, would you be there?
Okay.
In that case, I'll basically have that broader mindset that it could also happen that Aditya might be busy. ये भी हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने बोल दिया तो आदित्य आएगा ही आएगा. He has his own life, right? So when you remove these expectations, entitlements, and everything, you basically convert that need to a want, and that is very important for you to understand. You can anytime, any day convert any need to a want if you want.
Okay, so what you are suggesting that in kind of relationships with anyone, there should be wants instead of needs, like something like that.
Exactly.
Yep.
If you want your relationship to work out, you work for it. When you say I need this relationship to work out, you're basically handling everything to the other person. Like you're expecting him to do as much work as you are putting in, but instead all you can do is have a normal chit chat and decide on like you do this and I'll do that. If you're okay with it, we can go ahead.
And that's a wonderful example. Now dwelling on it, now Vinay just said that let's say so this actually happened. I mean that's a wonderful example that he took up. So we were discussing this. I had to go somewhere today, and I was busy. So I told him that bro, I'll be available at 10:30. So can we do the session at 10:30? He said, yeah, sure, we can do that. And now let's say if he was expecting कि नहीं यार जो हमने time decide किया आदित्य उसी time पे आएगा. Let's say if that was the case, then he would be disappointed. I mean, this guy is not serious. He would have judged me on 4 or 5 different things, and he would be slogging right now. He would be in a terrible state. Now, I would still be at school delivering my session. I'll be chilled out as hell. I'll go for beers after this. But on the other hand, this guy would be the one who will feel terrible. So this guy had expectations from me. I let him down. Now he's the one feeling terrible. Makes sense? And of course, eventually it might have an effect on your relationship. I mean, of course, if he feels disappointed with me, his behavior with me will change accordingly. And if his behavior changes, my behavior will change accordingly. And so the level of the relationship or the quality of the relationship is bound to go down.
Makes sense.
Make sense?
Yeah, it is making sense for sure. Yeah, and,
Alright,
and
so
like,
if
did
you
you
have
guys
no
categorize the emotions?
categorize as in
No, like it was one of the topics that you guys are going to tell us that how to categorize the emotions. Like it is written there in the event
so
channel.
We are not done with all the desires, Tushar. So we have right now we have covered the necessity part. We have covered the want and the need. If you guys don't have any more questions, we would love to take them. Okay. We have covered desire. We have covered need and want now. Now the next part is actually the
desire
desire
state.
state,
And
that is the most
before we go to
important. Yeah.
before we go to desirous state, I just want to answer that one question that somebody asked. That I mean, where is emotion in this? When we discussed necessity. So I'm breaking this to you. Necessity is not an emotion. The only reason for us to bring that over there, and this is something that we decided to bring out when we concluded, the difference between need and want. The only objective of getting that there as an emotion is so that we can actually keep all the things which are resources or commodities aside into one bucket, so that we can actually focus on the actual definitions of need and want. So that is the only reason we introduce it. Necessity is not an emotion.
It makes sense.
Make sense? Cool. So now that we've answered this,
I have a point right now. So Aditya, like, so you were saying something. Like, complete. I'll do that.
yeah. So I was just saying that desire state probably we won't be able to cover today, because that's again a big topic. It's as big as need and want. So probably we should take it to the next session. Meanwhile, I just want to know if we have any active questions or any active comments on the very idea of need and want. Anyone?
Okay, two people are typing.
Yeah, I've asked. I don't know if you have already answered it. In the chat, I have written.
Which one? Which one? Sorry.
I have tagged you.
Okay, so what is better, certainty or creativity? That one.
Uh,
No? Oh,
Akash.
your voice is breaking, man.
I have tagged Akash. I'll just reply to it.
Okay. Okay. Vivek. So your question is then what if your body doesn't allow you to control your expectations? It is generally uncontrollable, right? It's about generating feeling to be okay with it, right? Aditya,
Mm-hmm. So I actually did not get the question when you say that. What if your body does not allow? I mean, I think it's something which has something to do with your brain, right? Something to do with your mind. How will your
Yeah.
body be a part of the decision making?
Yeah, you can put it like our brain rather than body, that word.
Okay, yeah, ठीक है, makes sense. So you're saying that what if your mind is just not ready? See, there are certain questions that need to be answered. So when we talk about self-awareness, it's something about asking the right questions and digging deeper and deeper into it through honest answers. Now, the first step is identification. Now, let's say you identify. Let's say you have a girlfriend. Okay, you realize that you have certain expectations from her, that she'll do this, she'll do that. Let's say you think that when I'm feeling low, she should always be available for me. She should always be able to handle me. Let's say. Now, you call her up, and let's say at one point in time she's not able to give you enough time, or maybe she's not able to handle you, or maybe she gets angry, or maybe she just she just bangs the call, and that's something which you're not able to, which is against your expectations. That's the bare minimum expectation that you had, that she'll be there for you when you need her, right? Now you ask yourself that why is it that I'm having this expectation from her? Now, a lot of these emotions actually, I mean, a lot of, the in-depth part of it, it actually covers a lot of other emotions, and that is something which will be covered in further sessions. This requires questioning. The first thing is identification. Ki, ha, bhai, I have these expectations from her. Then you realize that why do I have these expectations from her? Do I need it, or is it just because the society thinks that this should be done? If it's just plain societal conditioning, then you might want to ask yourself, is it helping me? If it is not helping me, then you remove it. If it is and secondly, the thing is, okay, maybe you need it in some way. Maybe you are a person who is emotionally unstable. Let's say. Now, do you not think that being there for yourself and being self-dependent when it comes to your emotions is a much better idea than burdening somebody else with your tantrums? That would be a much better thing to do. So again, we'll have to come back to this again and again, because
Did I lose connection?
Aditya, you're not audible. Is he audible?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, I thought I lost connection.
Same here. Just give me a sec. Let me call him and ask him to rejoin.
Sure.
I don't think he's being able to hear us.
Yes.
Aditya, we're not being able to hear you. Can you just disconnect and rejoin? Okay.
Is anyone speaking something?
No. We're just waiting for Aditya to rejoin. Yeah, he's back. Aditya, can you hear me?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah, you're audible now.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So, all right. So, where is it that I mean, where I went on a mute? I went mute.
I forgot, man. I have no idea.
You were talking about self-dependent, being self-dependent. From there, like, you just lost
Yeah, I
connection.
mean, exactly. So again, this is just an example that I'm giving you. Maybe you decide that you do not want to be self-dependent. The simple idea behind self-awareness is that, I mean, we're not attaching any rules. We're not saying ये कोई मतलब, again, this is not a societal conditioning. Self-awareness is something which is there to liberate you from your societal conditioning. It's not another societal conditioning that you should replace with your current ones. Self-awareness is nothing but being aware that whatever I want to do, what is behind my desires? Why do I want to do this? Let's say I mean, what is my ego? What if I want to do this? Is it that my ego is affecting this decision? Let's say my ego is affecting this decision. Do I want to let it? Now your logical mind will take over whether or not you want to take it or not. Are you getting it? So again, I mean, more, I mean, your question is actually quite subjective, and it requires a lot of other things, the understanding of a lot of other things, and that is why I think right now I won't be able to answer it accurately. But yeah, just know that this is the basic idea behind self-awareness. Do we have any other question? Vinay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm reading a very a decently long paragraph. So just excuse me. You guys can continue. So give me a like.
Yeah.
There is one question in the chat, so I'm basically answering that. So guys,
By
if you have any
Maverick.
questions, yeah, by Maverick. Guys, if you
Okay,
have any questions,
let this be the last question for the night. After which, probably you can send us your questions. We'll definitely discuss your questions in the next session. But send us your. I mean, Vinay, can you throw a link at them where they can
yeah.
put questions or opinions? Yeah. Okay.
Definitely, I'll make a Google form. I'll send it in the events, and you guys can like put your perspective and put your opinions and questions or perspectives, etc., etc. And we'll basically discuss it in maybe next session, or we can actually plan one during the midweek. Aditya, is it okay with
Yeah,
you? Like
we
any
can.
day?
We can do that.
Okay,
We can do
awesome.
that.
We'll do that.
So by the time he reads it, can I ask one thing or should I just write in form?
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so the question comes that should we expect or not?
Well, that's your decision, I would say. The idea is that by the end of the session, you know what expectation does. You know this for a fact that if you expect what is going to happen, if your expectations are not met, then you're going to be you're going to feel terrible about it. Now it's completely your decision whether or not you want to expect or not. If you still want to go ahead and expect, that's great. That's totally your choice. But the objective of the session was to make you aware that this is what expectation does to you, and this is what not having expectation. I mean, this is the joy of not having expectation. Make sense?
Yeah, exactly. So of course we would choose not expecting, right? But if we take
Um.
it into practical life
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
then it would be like if there is something which I am okay with not having, that like it's just that I shouldn't get unhappy, like I should feel fulfilled. So then
Hmm.
it's like people can't achieve a lot for living a life. There is something like there was a word duty which is
Hmm.
to be fulfilled. So if we
Hmm.
talk it like very practically, then
Hmm.
because I have before a few months, I was actually thinking that what would the people who are living in woods uh, like how would they be living their life and how would be that experience and why isn't everyone doing that?
Hmm.
And in the first session, I guess, yeah, there was a question. So I was actually thinking about this question that if someone is living in a bungalow near a river and someone is living near a hut, they both would be like, according to the who is living, would be more why people aren't doing it practically.
Okay. So I think I'll start with the very first part of your question. So, and that's a very genuine question. So you're saying that if we don't have expectations from ourselves, if we don't, if we don't basically beat ourselves up, then we'll probably not be motivated enough to achieve our goals. That is something that I'll probably disagree a bit with. Now, there's a reason for that. Now, I'd actually urge you to. I mean, that's not a part of our session, but I would really urge you to. I'll actually type it down over here. Probably I can share a link. Give me a minute. So there's this Japanese mathematician called Yokai Shu. So he has a gamification framework called Octalysis. So gamification is nothing but the study of different kinds of motivations that which are involved in a game, where so that which basically form different elements of a game. Now, Yokaisho has actually explained it in a very concise, clear, and a very basic manner in his blog. I'll just paste the link for that over here.
Yeah, please do.
Give me a minute. Perfect. I've pasted it. So this blog basically talks about, let's say that there are two kinds of motivations for a player. So in the octalysis framework, it's nothing but an octagon, and each vertex, or you can say that each edge of the octagon is nothing but basically it defines an element. Let's say that element is say losing something. That element is say gaining points. You know, you'll actually get to it when you go through the depth of it. Now, they divide it into two parts. The upper part of the octagon, the motivations at the upper part, they are called white hat motivations, while the motivations below that octagon are called black hat motivations or black hat gamification, as far as Yokai Show's blog goes. The very idea behind black hat and white hat is that white hat motivations are basically those motivations which motivate you to do more, achieve more, right? Let's say I give you an option that okay, bro, you're working 8 hours a day. Now you do double the projects, and I'll give you triple the pay. That is a white hat motivation. On the other hand, I say that you have to do double the work, or I'll cut half of your pay. That is called a black hat motivation. Black hat motivation is something where you're motivated because of the fear of losing something. On the other hand, white hat motivation is something where you do something uh, because you want to do it. That is the basic difference between white hat motivation and black hat motivation. So again, you go through this blog, it offers extremely deep insights into it, and do ask me questions if you have any. But yeah, this is not a part of our curriculum.
So just to add into that, like after reading this, or maybe before reading this, you can actually check out a term called loss aversion. It's one of the very famous, you can say, cognitive biases. It is
Loss
basically defined as people get, it's called loss aversion. So what it basically talks about is people get motivated more because of fear compared to the motivation of getting something. It's called loss aversion. Just read about it before reading the uh, Yokaichu's octanalysis. It'll help you to like understand what he's basically coming from.
Okay, guys, just a reminder. I have to. We are already up. We are over time, and I need to leave in 5 minutes. So, Vinay, have you read her question?
So I'll answer that. Don't worry, Aditya. I'm
Oh,
basically typing a response to it. So don't worry about that.
perfect. Any other questions? Any active questions that you might have? I can take one more actually.
Do I have to type it out, or which channel should
You
I
can
type it
please
out in?
please feel free to say. I mean, say it out loud.
Sure. So I found the discussion quite interesting. I joined midway though. The
Hmm.
discussion about expectations being evil, and it's quite interesting to me because I quite believe that phrase, and I think like if we talk about relationships or even in life, or what the last guy asked, expectations arise from I believe every relationship between it may be between two people as boss and an employee, or a girlfriend and a boyfriend, is transactional. And for every relationship to be sustainable, that transaction should be fair between both the parties. So even if
Hmm.
it's a love relationship, the transaction has to be a transaction can be taking the other person on a movie date and having uh, just talking at night. So if I think that the value of having a 1 hour phone call at night might be equal to taking the other person on a movie date is equal, then that transaction, that relationship can be sustainable. And likewise for job, or in a career wise, if I think, okay, I put in that overtime for the last month, and I believe that I'm expecting a raise, and if I get that raise somehow, uh, I think that transaction, the value of that transaction is like fulfilled, and that's sustainable. And if I'm expecting, if an unreasonable expectation on the other hand might be my barter not being equal to what I'm expecting. I believe, if I'm making any sense. And to that, I want to ask, how do we avert against like unreasonable expectations? Because I always believe that expectations on the basic level aren't evil, but unreasonable expectations might be.
So, okay, can I know your name?
Yeah. Well, it's true.
No, I mean, anyway. Um, See, I'll answer it this way. I honestly don't think that there are unreasonable or reasonable expectations. I think expectations are just expectations. And what you define as basic, I mean, what you define as unreasonable could be basic for somebody else, right? Now, maybe you think that your father's expectation that you will get into an IIT. For you, it might be an unreasonable expectation, but maybe for him, it's a very basic expectation, no? So that, I mean, maybe if you ask him, he might feel that, oh, I've given him the best resources, I've taught him in the best schools, I've exhausted all my savings for his coaching and all. He can at least do this. He can at least get a rank under 10,000. It's not even that difficult. He might think so, right? So what is unreasonable for you might be basic for the other person. So that is why I said expectations are just expectations. Nothing is universally unreasonable. Nothing is universally basic. These are societal conditionings which make certain which kind of define certain expectations as basic and certain as unconditional. Oh, sorry, you can say unreasonable. For example, let's say if two people are in a relationship, a boy and a girl. Let's say the guy giving her some kind of an emotional support. That's a basic expectation as per the society, right? That's something which is defined by the society. That's nothing but societal conditioning. Now, if you want to go by that societal conditioning, no matter if you define it as basic or unreasonable, the fact is expectation. The effect of the expectation is going to be the exact same thing. If that expectation is met, you'll feel normal. If you get more than that, you'll feel something positive. If you do not get it, even if it's 99% there, you're going to feel bad about it. So now the choice is yours, whether you want to have expectations or not. You know exactly how they function right now. So again, I mean, coming back to your basic question as to how do you differentiate between unreasonable and basic expectations? I really don't think those words exist. I think expectations are just expectations. Even, I mean, for that you have to leave behind the societal conditionings. And that societal conditioning is actually it's actually a grand topic. It's actually a bomb within itself, and I think that'll explode when we'll cover lower emotions. So that's probably 5 or 6, 7 sessions, I don't know. Maybe 6, 7 sessions down the line. Does that answer your question, or you have some tags to it?
I think that was an interesting insight for sure.
Perfect.
Might be just expectations are just expectations. Yeah.
Yep, nothing unreasonable or reasonable about them. All right. Okay, so guys, I'll take my leave. I need to have dinner. So it was a great session. Thank you so much. And Vinay, please share the Google form link with them. I would love to know if you have any questions. We can actually plan a session in the middle of the week, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. Secondly, if you have any opinions, if you have any feedback on this, I would actually love to hear you out because that's something that I'm also doing for the first time. Uh, so yeah, have a great night. I'll see you around. Bye bye.
See ya, dude.
Okay, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Good night.